Ladies and gentlemen, please stand. Their Excellencies, the Right Honourable Dame Patsy Reddy, Governor-General of New Zealand, and Sir David Gascoigne.
Thank you, everyone. Please take a seat. I ngā mana, i ngā reo, i ngā iwi o ngā huewha, tēnei aku mihi mahana ki a koutou. Nau mai haere mai ki te whare kawana. Kia ora tātou katoa. I specifically acknowledge the Honourable Eugenie Sage, Minister of the Crown, our kuia, Mrs Tirupawai Higgins, our kaumātua, Mr Joe Harawira, tēnā koutou. And I offer a very special welcome to today's honour recipients. It's a real pleasure to host this investiture ceremony and bring together 7 honour recipients along with their family and friends to recognise the contributions they've made to our country. We also welcome the family of an honour recipient who has sadly passed away since his honour was announced. As Governor-General, I have the authority and privilege on behalf of Her Majesty, Queen Elizabeth, the Queen of New Zealand, to hold an investiture for her and to confer the honours to which each recipient is entitled. An investiture ceremony is one of the most important duties I perform on behalf of Her Majesty, the Queen, and so it's a very real pleasure to resume these ceremonies after the disruptions we've all experienced over the past few months. On these occasions, it's my privilege to bring together individuals who've made an exceptional contribution in their respective fields of endeavour. Some of you have a national public profile, others are well known in your own communities. But what you have in common is the positive impact you have had on the economic, environmental, social and cultural well-being of our nation. This will be a memorable day for you and for your family and friends who've come to witness your investiture and to celebrate with you. Ladies and gentlemen, as each recipient comes forward, I invite you all to join me in thanking and congratulating them for their service to our country. Catriona MacLeod will now read the citations for each recipient and invite them to come forward to receive their insignia. Thank you.
Your Excellency, to receive the insignia of an Officer of the New Zealand Order of Merit, Mr Shawn Norman of Twizel, for services to mountaineering, alpine safety and the community. Shawn Norman was the inaugural Secretary and Treasurer of the New Zealand Mountain Guides Association, and he's held 5 roles since then, including President. He's the association's longest-standing guide, having become an accredited International Federation of Mountain Guides Association guide in 1981. He organised and hosted the first and only IFMGA annual meeting in New Zealand. He's taught alpine safety and has assisted with search and rescue at Aoraki Mount Cook over the decades. He's held the record for the most ascents of Aoraki Mount Cook. He's been responsible for field leadership of United States and New Zealand teams for a range of research projects in Antarctica. Mr. Norman is a voluntary driver for St. John Ambulance and has led several significant community projects in Twizel. Mr. Shawn Norman, please come forward. Dr. Keith Ovenden of Wellington for services to the arts. Dr. Keith Ovenden is former chair of the New Zealand Portrait Gallery Trust. He led significant fundraising exercises for the trust, including acquiring a permanent location on the Wellington waterfront. He oversaw fundraising for seismic strengthening of the gallery. He's overseen a gradual professionalisation of the gallery, which now presents 3 major and 4 to 5 minor exhibitions annually, and the Adam Portraiture National Competition every other year. He's been an independent scholar, researcher, and writer since 1983, after working as a lecturer of political science. He has written non-fiction books, including 2 important works of political economy and a biography of New Zealand writer Dan Davin, and 4 novels. Dr. Ovenden has written many articles, reviews, and commentaries on social, political, and cultural issues in New Zealand. Dr. Keith Ovenden, please come forward. Your Excellency, to receive the insignia of a member of the New Zealand Order of Merit, Mrs. Naomi Cowan of Auckland for services to mental health and the community. Naomi Cowan is the CEO of Equip and chairperson of Platform Trust, a national umbrella group that empowers community organisations in the mental health and addiction sector. As chairperson, she successfully led pay equity negotiations for mental health and addiction support workers. She has been chairperson of Navigate, a representative group of more than 50 non-governmental organisations delivering mental health and addiction services to the district health boards in the northern region. She helped establish and chair the Waitemata Mental Health and Addiction Stakeholder Network and serves as chairperson of Global Leadership Network New Zealand. She was chairperson of the Sir Peter Blake Marine Education and Recreation Centre. Mrs. Naomi Cowan, please come forward. Mr. Jeff Pearman of Port Chalmers for Services to Seniors and Business. Jeff Pearman has raised awareness of the issues faced by New Zealand's ageing population. He founded Senior Entrepreneurs New Zealand and established Partners in Change, a business that works with organisations to address the challenges and opportunities of the ageing workforce. His book, Doing It Differently, Life and Work After 50, is a key educational resource. He's contributed to research by the HT Group and Massey University's Health and Ageing Research Team. Mr. Pearman is a member of the Independent Advisory Group for the Better Later Life, He Oranga Kaumatua 2019 to 2034 strategy, and advisor to the Retirement Commissioner for the Review of Retirement Income Policy 2019. Mr. Jeff Pearman, please come forward. Mr. Ewan Peary of Windham for Services to Clay Target Shooting. Ewan Peary has been a long-time administrator in the sport of clay target shooting. He was appointed the sole South Island referees examiner by the New Zealand Clay Target Association in the early 1980s. He's been an executive member of the New Zealand Clay Target Association and has served as vice president and president. He was involved in forming the International Clay Target Shooting Federation and served as its president. He's president of the New Zealand Shooting Federation, having previously been New Zealand Clay Target delegate and vice president. Mr. Peary is also president of the Oceania Shooting Federation. Mr. Ewan Peary, please come forward. Mr. Yeti Tia Tia of Wellington for services to sport and the Samoan community. Yeti Tia Tia formed the Wellington Samoan Rugby Committee and established annual fixtures between Wairarapa, Palmerston North and Auckland Samoan Rugby Associations. He was president of the committee and helped set up the Wellington Pacific Cup. He was a selector for Manu Samoa in New Zealand for the 1991 World Cup and established the inaugural New Zealand Samoan rugby team. He was vice president of the Wellington Rugby Football Union and assistant manager of the Samoan Barbarians team. He coordinated the relief campaign between Wellington and Samoa after cyclones Ofa and Val. Mr. Tia Tia is involved with the Wellington Samoan Golf Association and was sports announcer for Samoan Capital Radio. Mr. Yeti Tia Tia, please come forward. Your Excellency, to receive the Queen's Service Medal, the late Mr. Rex Kirk of Christchurch for services to the community and sport. The late Rex Kirk was a member of the New Zealand Meat Workers Union for 45 years as a plant delegate, branch official and national secretary. He served for 37 years as St John First Aid volunteer and administrator for the New Brighton Rugby Club. He was the president of the New Brighton Bowling Club and was also a member of the club's Judiciary Committee. He was patron of the New Brighton Returned and Services Association. Mr. Kirk was active with a variety of sports events and supported children at Eastern community sports activities at Rafiti Domain. His insignia will be received by Cheryl Hawkey. Cheryl Hawkey, please come forward. Mrs. Barbara Stewart of Nelson for services to conservation. Barbara Stewart is a member of the Nelson Marlborough Conservation Board. She was a member of the New Zealand Walking Access Commission Board and was among the first private landowners in New Zealand to create a formal public walkway across her family farm at Cable Bay near Nelson. While working for Landcare Trust, she led the Aorere Catchment Project, which improved water quality in the rivers and near shore area of Golden Bay. Mrs. Stewart has been involved with Federated Farmers, Rural Women New Zealand and the Rural Support Trust, coordinating mental health support for Nelson Tasman rural communities. Mrs. Barbara Stewart, please come forward. Your Excellency, the investiture is concluded.
Our honours system is our nation's highest public affirmation of outstanding individual achievement. It reinforces values and behaviours that sustain our communities and help our nation thrive and prosper. And these include service, courage, manaakitanga, and the pursuit of knowledge and excellence. By using their talents to make ours a better society, whether by service to their communities or by their leadership in diverse fields of endeavour, or their commitment to excellence in their own field of expertise, our recipients have set a fine example to others, encouraging them in their own endeavours. To the recipients, it's been a privilege to hear your stories. You've demonstrated determination, commitment, and compassion in your daily lives. In your own way, each of you has helped make Aotearoa New Zealand a better place to live. In some cases, your influence and the positive impact of your work has extended beyond our shores. Your actions and the stories we've heard reflect the spirit of the words of the great New Zealander Sir Edmund Hillary when he said, "People do not decide to become extraordinary, they decide to accomplish extraordinary things." On behalf of all New Zealanders, I thank you for the extraordinary things you have accomplished, whether by dedicating your lives to public good, achieving distinction in your chosen field, or inspiring others with your leadership. Please wear your insignia with pride, knowing that your contributions are recognised and valued, and others are inspired by your example. Thank you. Now we're almost at the end of the formal part of today's ceremony, but before we break, I'd like you all to stand and join me in singing our national anthem.